Happy Spiritual Sunday to you all. Thank you for joining us. It's a pleasure to be able to share this wisdom that I've been learning almost 40 years already. It's changed my life tremendously, helped me overcome a lot of the challenges and a lot of the blockages that I grew up with. And like most of us, we all grow up with certain false ideas. And learning in the center from the Rav and Karen over the years has helped me understand my life itself, my purpose in life, and how I can achieve that purpose, how I can overcome all of the long-held blockages, false beliefs. And this is what constantly motivates me to continue sharing this with you on Spiritual Sunday. Because when I came into this world, this lifetime, my only goal, my desire, was to remove pain, suffering, and death. And as many of you know, I was applying to medical school when my mother died, and that, without all the details, that was the push, because I realized that medicine did not have the technology how to stop pain, suffering, and death. And so then I moved towards this sought out spiritual teachings. And in 1987, I was literally dropped in the Kabbalah center. And I've been here ever since. And so it's my merit and my blessing to be able to share this wisdom with you week to week, and in the classes in the centers that I teach or the seminars I give. And so as we do every Spiritual Sunday, I'd like to start with, before affirmation, something from Karen's book, Simple Light. And if you'd like to, you can look it up on Kabbalah.com, and if it speaks to you, get it for yourself. So Karen writes like this: if we understood that there is a system for all the things that manifest in our lives, and that everything is here to teach us and to bring us to a place where we can complete our correction, our karma, our tikkun, then we would never worry. We would know that the light, the Creator, put us in this framework, in this body, in this environment, to be in the best position to finish our corrections. The circumstances in which we find ourselves are not meant as punishments. They are tools to help us elevate to another level of spiritual consciousness. If we truly understood this, then there would be no need for greed, anger, envy, because we would know that we are always exactly where we need to be. There is a system to the soul that exists in every human being on earth. The technology is what we teach in the centers that's called Kabbalah, true Kabbalah of the Zohar. It's universal because the soul inside every human being is also universal. The system operates the same. What you and I are learning by the study of this wisdom of Kabbalah is how to make use of that light of our soul in a way that brings us more peacefully and mercifully by our aligned actions with the light of the Creator, to bring us more quickly, accelerate the end of our chaos, negativity individually and collectively. And so let's deepen this knowledge, this certainty, this wisdom, this power in our heart and soul as we say our affirmation together. Consciousness is everything. I raise my consciousness today to see the miracles and wonders of life. I commit myself to behave with greater love, compassion, and kindness towards all human beings. If, heaven forbid, somebody exempts, skips, overlooks somebody as we're sending light, love, and compassion out to the world, the real detriment is that the person who's not sending light to the heart and soul of every human being on earth is creating a lack in some place within their own life. Because every day, in every way, shape, or form, our life depends on how we interconnect with the soul, or heaven forbid, the external behavior of every person on earth. So it's to our greatest advantage to meditate, to beam light, as we do it with our meditation at the end, beam light to the heart and soul of every human being, because that's how I and you stay connected to the fullness of the light of the Creator in our own soul, or in our peace of that one unified soul. And so today I'd like to talk to you about stress. Not that any of you have it, but maybe you'll learn a little bit today and you'll be able to share with your friends. What's going on in the world today? Pretty challenging. And thank goodness many of us have, meanwhile, a relative oasis, if you will, in the midst of the chaos. But even in our level, we all have our various aspects of stress, because there's pressure in the world. There's chaos in the world. And so we want to understand first and foremost, is that stress, or is stress itself good or bad? So let me start by asking you this. Think, if you have to close your eyes, think for a moment of times, that's ideally more recently, where you have felt stressed. Something in your head, something that you saw, something that you heard, something that was done around you. Think of the times when stress was triggered in your life. Envision it, remember it, and then ask yourself, are all those situations the same? Or are there stressful moments at work, at home, when you're driving down the street, when you're at a social event, when you're in the supermarket, when you're watching the news, etc.? Now you understand that stress is not just in one area related to one scenario in your life. It crosses many aspects of your life. Did you respond? Now you look at those 2, 3, 4, 5 different situations. Did you respond the same in each one? Meaning, did you react? Was there a button pushed, triggered, and you just let that emotion control your words and actions? Even though they may have looked differently from the outside or looked different from the outside, the essence was the same. That instant, button-pushed, knee-jerk response for instant gratification. And then, did you get the same results in all those different situations? Meaning, was your stress relieved? Did you get what you wanted? Were the other people agreeing with you, bow down to you, retract from you, cower away? Or did they respond as stressfully as you did? You reacted, they reacted. Your knee-jerk response, their knee-jerk response to your knee-jerk response. But then I'd like you to think in this way. Over all the years that I've mentored students in the center, there's two ways to respond to those stress activating challenges. One, which is the general way we usually see and do, as negative stress, reacting, like we said, the knee-jerk, instant desire for instant gratification. And unfortunately, that negative stress leads to anxiety, phobias, ailments, limitations, fights, arguments, and pretty much all the chaos we see is essentially based on stress. But there's that negative stress, or that negative way of responding to stress, that just harms the person themselves. We know what goes out from us comes back to us. And therefore, if people are putting out the negative energy of stress, chaos, then that's what they're going to get in return. Negative stress, when we respond that way, is when a person is focused on themselves and worry about themselves and their future. They're not thinking about the bigger picture, really. They're not thinking about our purpose here, bringing peace and harmony to the world. It's, I'm worried, I'm concerned about my future, my this and my that. But then there must be some people, that it appears that when there's challenges, stressful situations, they seem to thrive. In fact, I have a student recently was sharing with us in class when we were talking about chaos and stress, and he says, oh no, when there's chaos and stress, that's when he feels the best. Then he just goes right into repair mode, fix it, correct it, turn the chaos to order, deal with it, handle it, whatever, and he feels more positive. He says, when he doesn't have chaos, when there aren't those things, that's when he's lost, which we discussed is also a form of chaos. But there is using stress, at least as he did in the one aspect, using the challenge, the stress, the chaos to move him forward. He didn't just get held back. Negative stress essentially paralyzes people. They can't move forward. They think they are because they scream, yell, try and get what they want, not moving forward. So let's start to understand what is stress, because as we'll understand what it is and how it shows up, where it comes from, we'll be able to have a solution, a way to transform it. So in simple terms, and remember, you and I learn that the Kabbalists teach us something it's called language of the branches. Most people don't truly perceive the world beyond the five senses. They don't see the energies, the auras around people. They don't see these angelic forces around them, etc. So the Kabbalists explain the spiritual is the pattern for the physical. The spiritual is the pattern for the physical. As I usually say, you first internally, let's call it, feel hungry, the spiritual, the metaphysical, then you take the action to go get something to eat. So what the language of the branches means, that by observing consciously and carefully the physical world, we can translate that, if you will, to the pattern upon which it was based, the spiritual world. And therefore, physically, what is stress? So in physics, in engineering, the building you're sitting in, the chair you're sitting in even, essentially has been designed to alter or to deal with two opposite forces. You're sitting in your chair. Gravity is essentially pulling your body down into the chair. It's a force directed downward. The purpose of the design of the chair, the engineering of the chair, is to be strong enough to counteract the downward force and prevent the downward force, if you will, from winning the conflict. In essence, what the chair does is a force moving upwards or pushing upwards. And therefore, you can sit in the chair and not fall, or in simple terms, not be ejected upwards. And therefore, we want to understand that on a spiritual level, the source of stress is not the person, the situation that's around you that you were just thinking about. The source is the trigger inside you. No trigger for what they said or did, no stress. So, what are the two forces? And again, the beauty of what we learn here in the center, it's universal. The soul is common to everybody. It's the same soul from the same creator. It has one universal technology, as we read from Karen. And it's how we use our soul that determines what comes to us. And so let's remember, reminding ourselves, the Creator's light is infinite. As the Kabbalist writer, Rav Ashlag, made it very clear, the founder of the center, there is no space, no place in the entire universe that the infinite light of the Creator does not exist. And therefore, our soul, our piece of the infinite vessel to contain that light, our piece of it is 100% filled with light, which is the only source of lasting fulfillment. The light, not the car, the house, the job, the awards, the recognition. The light is the only source of lasting fulfillment. Sure, people can get temporary by the award, by the adulation, by the money, the vacation, the house, the car, the other person in their life, whatever it is. But the only power to keep all of our blessings lasting, our fulfillment lasting, is the infinite light. Now, we just said our affirmation, consciousness is everything. I want to bring a definition, if you will, in this frame, what consciousness is. So we're filled with 100%, that when we first came into this world, that 100% is our 100% potential for eternal bliss. Now, as we do our spiritual work in this world, we reveal more and more of that light. So consciousness essentially is the proportion of revealed light versus concealed light. So let's say over this lifetime, or most of you understand past lives, since we first came into this physical world in the beings called Adam and Eve, and as we've traveled through life, yes, sometimes even in lifetimes through pain and suffering, we cleanse the spiritual mud that we were carrying. So, and then we act with greater love, kindness, and compassion. So that proportion, let's call it 60-40. So 60% of our life is being revealed. We're 60% of our potential, of our true capability of being loving, kind, generous, humble, compassionate, forgiving, tolerant, appreciative, etc. That means 40% of our blessings, 40% of our manifest light is hidden. It's not yet manifest. It's potential. So think of life again, language of the branches. Those of you, maybe people have looked at you, or you looked at others, or you look at your children and you say, wow, I see they have so much potential. What did you really mean? that wherever they are now, let's call it 60, you perceive the other 40%. They have greater talents than they're expressing now of whatever, athletics, business, science, medicine, whatever it may be. Creating. They have more potential than they're manifesting. So in that same way, our soul, so to speak, metaphorically, the Creator is looking at us and saying, oh my goodness, you have so much more potential than you're revealing now. You've only revealed 60% of what I, the Creator, gave you. There's 40% more. So yes, it's great to have 60% kindness and compassion and seeking peace and love and unity, but you have another 40%. So that is what we would call, that's why when you say somebody raise their consciousness or let's elevate our consciousness means what? Reveal more of our potential. In, let's say, more human terms, daily human terms, the 60%, the revealed light we call it, that's the sharing we do in our 60% comfort zone. However, we got to 60%, now we're at 60%, we're pretty comfortable. We'll share 60% of the times, we'll be 60% generous, 60% humble, 60% forgiving, but that means then the other 40% is manifest as the opposite, as the anger, the jealousy, the ego, the greed, fear, insecurity, blame, victimization, judgment, etc. Because it's being hidden by that spiritual mud, if you know the term klipot, the shells and the veils that we've created this life and past lives. So that is what, if you will, distinguishes the 60 and the 40. In other words, what's the fence that's blocking, if you will, the 40%? It's those veils of all our reactive behaviors. The anger, insecurity, blame, worry, sadness, guilt, revenge, hatred, jealousy, judgment. That's what blocks us from our greater potential. And therefore, the stress that people feel in challenging situations is when the light of their potential, that unrevealed light, is shining on us, wants us to reveal it, to manifest it through, as we affirm, greater actions, not just actions, greater, uncomfortable, out of our comfort zone, stretching beyond our limitations, sharing greater love, kindness, compassion, generosity, humility, forgiveness, tolerance. That's how one elevates consciousness. Book learning, even the book of the Zohar, books of the Ari, books of the Rav and Karen, even the Kabbalistic books, if it's only study and not acted upon, not used to push ourselves, sharing uncomfortably, as we've just mentioned, then we stay the same. And that 40% presses harder and harder and harder. So you have the two forces, the comfort zone pushing against the influence of our potential unrevealed light, the two pushing in opposite ways. The potential light wants to break through that fence, that veil of the fear, the anger, the jealousy, whatever, and therefore be manifest. So we go from 60 to 70%. Now it's 70-30. We push again uncomfortably. We go from 70 to 80, etc., until all our light is revealed. And that, we have learned, is the only reason we're here in this world, to manifest all of our light. And therefore, it is essential that we overcome our stress. Of course, we all want to. I don't think there's anybody on earth who really wants to keep their stress and all the anxiety and the negativity that comes with it. So let's talk about how do we get rid of it? How do we remove our stress? Well, the first thing is, like most of us may try in some way or another, certainly before Kabbalah, you can't run away from your challenges. You can't run away from that which you perceive is causing the stress. Because now that you've come to understand that the stress is based on the light that's inside of us, the part that's revealed versus the part that's unrevealed. And the desire, if you will, the very inherent nature of light is to share, to be expansive, to extend, to illuminate. So there is, number one, no way we can run away from it because it's inside our soul. We're carrying it with us, so everywhere you go, there you are. The revealed light, comfort zone light, and the unrevealed, uncomfortable sharing to reveal it zone. And therefore, the light that's unrevealed is constantly pushing, reveal me, reveal me, reveal me. I can bring you greater love and protection and prosperity and health and kindness and joy and guidance and clarity and peace of mind and serenity. And that veil is saying, no, I don't want to be uncomfortable in my sharing. I like being in my little comfort zone. That's stress, those two forces pushing against each other. And even you would perceive, because remember we have that AI program over here that pushes us to see and only respond to the physical, material part of the world. So as you may have done in some way, and you probably know a lot of people who did, challenging situations, stressful situations, people run away. So the external, sure, they look like they moved from one place to another, they change jobs, they change their relationship, they change things in their life, social circles, the things their hobbies are, whatever it is, they change the external. So the external looks different. But because it's related to inside, as we're understanding clearly today, they can't run away from that. And since like attracts like, light revealed will attract more light and blessings, but reactive behavior, extending more curtains, spiritual mud, veils will only bring more veils. And the challenge is to point out those veils. So wherever a person goes thinking externally they're running away from the chaos and the challenges and the stress, no, their unrevealed light will just attract other stress-activating situations, challenges, because the light wants to be revealed. It's pushing against the comfort zone. Stress. So how are we going to reduce it? Maybe now you've already got some ideas. The only way to reduce or remove stress, if you think about it. So let's say, first realize if the light of the Creator, as the Kabbalists teach us, shines into this universe 24/7, and there's no place, not even in our darkness of the anger and the stress and the chaotic situations, etc., there is no place in the universe that the infinite light of the Creator doesn't exist. So, can we really believe in the long run, trying, if you will, to hold off? Let's make a physical example. So the light is of our unrevealed potential is sort of raining down. It's coming down from above. Do you really think that we, our negativity, our darkness, and darkness not necessarily like bad, terrible, but like our darkness, fear, anger, jealousy, egos, insecurity, guilt, shame, blame, etc. Do you think that veil can withstand long-term the pressure of the light force of the Creator? No. It's like Maybe I did, growing up. If you have a sibling, you have a friend, sometimes even in play, you're playing at somebody's house, you're playing outside, and somebody wants to run away from you. And they run into their house and they're about to turn and push the door, close the door, and you get there just before, and you're pushing. So you have stress on the door, don't you? Because you're trying to push to get in, they're trying to push to hold you out. So the door, in essence, is that curtain, that veil, where there's stress. And you push, and they're pushing, and you push, and you push. And yes, you can hold them off for a while. And to fit our example, they're stronger. But you're so running and you want to do, and you're pushing. But now the stress, you're shaking, whatever, they're pushing harder and harder and harder. And you can only hold so long, and then, because they are stronger than you, push, and the door closes. So now imagine the infinite light of the Creator, that the whole paradox is, the irony, that unrevealed light wants to give each of us greater blessings, more peace, less stress, less chaos, less difficulty, less darkness, less ailments, less trouble. And we unconsciously are pushing against it. This is where the Rav and Karen used to say, people love to hug their chaos. Because that's essentially what we're doing. Trying to fight the infinite light. So you want to reduce stress? You want to remove your stress? The only way, go with the flow of the light that wants in. Go with the power of that unrevealed light. Sharing uncomfortably into your darkness. That's the only way to reveal your greater light, your greater blessings, and therefore have less stress and chaos. What does that look like? So, give you a couple examples. Think of the person that you still resent. Doesn't matter what they did, that their behavior will go back to them, regardless of what you do or say. Their negativity goes out into the cosmos, comes back to them, the same as ours. The good things we do goes out in the cosmos, comes back to us, regardless of other people, places, or things. So you know that person you still resent? Yes, uncomfortably. Beam light out of your heart and soul of forgiveness and shine it on them. Most importantly, your darkness goes away. Aspects of your stress disappear. You have a greater sense of peace and serenity. Don't let the AI program say, yeah, but what about them? What about them? No, don't worry about their correction, their tikkun. You shine light on them. It's not going to suddenly exempt them from their cause and effect of that nasty thing they did to you. It's going to help illuminate in their eyes the chaos, negativity they created for themselves by acting that way towards you, until they feel so much discomfort or pain that they will change their behavior. Meanwhile, you've just elevated yourself out of the mud with them, because your resentment and their bad behavior, you're in the same mud. You want to stay there with them because you're justified because of what they did? No, you're in the same mud with them and constantly in stress about it. Shine the light of forgiveness. You elevate out, and they'll start to realize how stuck in the mud they are, and then they'll want to get out. And the only way to get out, same thing, share their light uncomfortably. Think of the person you're jealous of. Now you're getting it. Same thing. You're stuck in the mud. So you're in the mud of jealousy with jealous people. Because somehow their jealousy made them do or influenced them to do whatever it is that you're jealous of. So, the same way. What's the opposite of jealousy? Gratitude and appreciation. Gratitude and appreciation for your blessing. Gratitude and appreciation for theirs. And again, shine light. You're the first and foremost beneficiary. So you shine that light, you're out of the mud. Their jealousy is going to keep coming back to them over and over. You're out. Now, suddenly you look around, you have more appreciation, more gratitude for your own blessings, and you're just happy human dignified happiness for everybody else's good. Because you know it's not affecting yours. Nobody can take away the light that's in your soul, which is the source of all the things that 2 minutes ago you were jealous of. You're jealous somebody got a new car. No, the essence of the sense of peace, harmony, satisfaction, fulfillment of what you perceive the new car would do for you, it's inside you. You shine out the light of gratitude and appreciation for all your blessings, even your old car, because it's still a blessing. It still manifests light for you. And then something will change. You went from 60 to 70, so more good things will come your way. Whether it's a different car or you just appreciate your car more and appreciate all the other things in your life that 2 minutes before you were taking for granted. And here you go. Think of the guilt and the shame you're still holding about something you said or something you did. It's causing you stress, sleepless nights, worry. You're in the middle of a social situation or a business meeting. Suddenly, the AI program throws it in front of you. Oh, guilt and shame. I did that. I said that. I acted that way. Stress. Meanwhile, you're ignoring what you're in the midst of. A social event, a business meeting, whatever it may be. Shine the light. Light is always the solution for any form of darkness. I'm just giving you general, if you will, frequencies of the light. Shine the light of apology. Have regret and shine the light of apology to give back, metaphorically, the light that you took from the action or the words you did that you now feel guilt and shame over. Light removes darkness, gives all of us greater peace, fulfillment in a lasting way. That piece of light we consciously shine out, that piece is eternal bliss. The 60%, or now pushing to 70, that's eternal bliss. Why don't we feel 100%? Now you get it. We haven't revealed 100%. So shining light into our darkness is the only way to grow and expand our consciousness. It's the only way to manifest more of our God-given blessings and potential. It's the only way to feel more peaceful in life, more. It's the only way we can manifest more of those blessings and ultimately all the blessings that we came here to manifest. The blessings of heaven on earth, eternal bliss, peace, love, and eternal unity among all human beings. God bless. Thank you for joining us. In a minute, we'll be doing our meditation on one of the 72 names. But as always, I want to thank those of you who are recurring donors and have donated to the Zohar project and or the scholarship programs to bring people. The ultimate goal, Zohar. Make sure you have, make sure your friends, family, people around you have. Create an environment of light. That's what the Zohar does. It just shines the infinite light of the Creator, but in its most powerful intensity. And therefore, the faster we surround the world with Zohar, the books of the Zohar, the faster we up the manifest light until it's beyond, let's call it 50%. So everybody on earth has that direct spiritual awakening of their heart and soul's light and begins to move by actions of transformational, uncomfortable sharing, greater love, kindness, compassion, forgiveness, tolerance, etc. And that's when we'll remove all the covers, that curtain, veil between wherever, even between the 99% and the 100% will be removed. And we will see peace and harmony on earth. So, we have here one of the 72 names of God. Most of you joining us now are familiar, but those of you who are new or who are watching this later, The Hebrew letters or the Aramaic alphabet, they are literally like photons of the spiritual light of the endless world, the light of the Creator. And therefore, like all light, they shine. And this is why just making the eye connection, scanning the Aramaic words of the Zohar, or in this case, these three energy forces of the infinite light of the Creator in the unique shape, i.e. frequencies, MEM YUD CAF. Eyes are the window to the soul, the light of this combination, MEM YUD CAF, shining through your eyes, awakening that unrevealed light, therefore giving you more power to do what? Reveal the concealed. MEM YUD CAF is the activation of the power inside of us to reveal the concealed. And as we've just spoke about, the 40% is the unrevealed, the concealed light. We're using this today to help us push ourselves to be able to manifest and reveal more and more of that concealed light. So just look, MEM YUD CAF. Let the shapes be engraved in your mind's eye. Sit comfortably in your seat, hands on your lap, feet flat on the floor. Begin relaxing into the light inside you and around you. Breathing in through the nose, a deep breath. Hold it for a moment. Exhale through your mouth. The air contains the essence of the light of the Creator. That's why it's the breath of life. Breathe it in. Let it flow from head to toe, cleansing and removing those veils. As you exhale, letting go of those blockages. Allowing yourself to relax into this infinite light of the Creator inside you. And as you do, feeling, acknowledging the surrounding light of unconditional love that you are immersed in, that envelops the entire world, all humanity. Relax, creating a beautiful, peaceful, but powerful flow of light in, operating through you. Exhale, sharing with the world. And now breathing normally. Envision the MEM YUD CAF just above your head, radiating from the endless world. This power of revealing the concealed, having the strength to do that uncomfortable stretch of sharing, to move the fence, the barrier between the revealed and unrevealed, to move it further so more of your light is revealed, blesses you, dispels the darkness of all forms. And we allow the MEM YUD CAF enter through the top of our head, shining its energy of empowerment, motivation, enthusiasm to share in all way, shape, or form beyond our comfort zone, to share into our darkness, to share into the challenging situations, to share into the chaos and stress activating scenarios in our life. Let it flow, MEM YUD CAF, through your head, reducing the voice of your opponent and increasing the volume and your awareness of the voice of your soul. Let the MEM YUD CAF continue through the rest of your body, revealing in every spiritual and physical cell of your being the power and the desire, the strength to reveal the concealed light of your potential. Feel, be aware of the difference, this awakening that's happening in you. And let this light settle, the MEM YUD CAF, let it settle in your heart and in your mind. And now together we want to take a beam of this MEM YUD CAF light and shine it out from our heart and soul to the heart and soul of all people in our lives, the people that we thought were bringing us stress, the people out in the world in general who are doing reactive things because of their stress, because of their unrevealed light pushing on them, and listening to their opponent and doing the reactive things that keep them the same instead of the proactive things that increase and elevate their consciousness and the blessings in their life. Beam MEM YUD CAF from your heart and soul, through the heart and soul of your family and friends, out to the people you know, the people you work with, out to the people in your community, and out to every human being on earth, because they are all a part of each of the one soul that exists in us all. Feel this flow of light channeling through you as you're emanating light out of your heart and soul. Then more of your unrevealed light is able to come in through the top of your head, guiding, inspiring, awakening a stronger desire for your 100%, for lasting blessings, eternal bliss, to achieve peace and harmony for you, your family, and all the world. Envision peace as this light has awakened the entire 100% light in each of us individually and the world collectively. Enjoy the serenity. Know how much more you can get and use that as the desire, the motivation to continue to share in your daily life uncomfortably when you're feeling stressed, when you feel the darkness. Pause and shine that light. Forgiveness, love, generosity, kindness, apology, gratitude, humility. And we will lock this into our heart, soul, and mind, taking one more deep breath. And exhale. And slowly open your eyes. Thank you for joining us. May we all accelerate the spread of this light. Accelerate by the spread of the Zohar and bringing your friends to come to the center, watch Spiritual Sunday, go on OneHouseKabbalah.com, go on Kabbalah.com. There are master classes that they can watch as an introduction to what this wisdom is. The faster we make this happen, the faster we all reveal light, the faster we can manifest that which we feel in our heart and soul. We are meant to have peace on earth, heaven on earth, unity and peace among all people. So let's awaken it preemptively, proactively, as the Zohar would call it, with mercy, because we do not want more, heaven forbid, pain and suffering to be the way to wake people up. God bless.